Today is kicking off my four-part series on Zoom, which I'm really excited to be hosting. And today's class is all about the natural dewy skin, especially since we're coming into winter and it's going to be getting cold. Everyone wants fresh skin, so that's really what we're going to focus on today, really fresh skin. So if everyone's ready, let's get this party started. Okay, I do have to say, if everyone has clean hands, that's where we really need to start because we don't want to be putting bacteria and germs on our face. Predominantly, we're going to use our hands today. And if you have brushes or a beauty blender, which is going to be really helpful as well, it'll be great for you. So first things first, little hand sanitizer never kills anybody. So let's use some of that. All right. So for skin today, I'm going to start with our Aurorian CC cream. This is a light to medium coverage CC cream. This thing is fantastic. The cool thing about it is it adjusts to your skin tone. So I'm going to show you how that works today. It's really cool. It also has SPF in it. And this fun fact about it, it's a Korean French skincare brand, which is really cool. Two amazing women founded it, and a lot of our other brands we carry at Blushington, they're women founded. So I'm going to use about a pea-sized amount. Use whatever foundation or tinted moisturizer you have, preferably something dewy because that's what we're going for. And I'm just going to start in the center of my face, so cheeks, forehead, nose, chin area. I'm going to show you one half of my face with the CC cream because it's really cool how it just adjusts, and we'll get closer, and rubs right in. Now I'm going to bring this all the way up under my eye as well, all the way up under there, because it looks like those filters on Instagram or Snapchat that kind of blur out the skin and hide any little imperfections. So if you have a tinted moisturizer or a foundation, you can definitely use your hands to blend them in. Just go in little circular motions, just like that. And once it's all rubbed in, you come and pat. You really want to pat everywhere. We don't want to use a lot of tugging on the skin because it can create friction and cause wrinkles, which nobody really wants anyway. So let's try not to do that. So already you can kind of see that this side of my face is a little bit more put together than the other side. That's why I really love this CC cream. But for you guys, if we'll go ahead and do the other side as well, make sure you have a really even base to go with. I'm just going to rub this in quickly as well. Don't forget to get up under your eye just a little bit. So before we get to concealer, we know how much we need to put on. The great thing about this is it color corrects as well. So then we don't have to use as many products all over the face. Awesome. And whatever's left over, you kind of want to bring it down into your neck because you don't want to have a line of demarcation, which means you don't want to have like a really tan jawline and a super white neck. So just make sure to blend. And whatever else is left on your fingers, you can lightly press on top of your eyelids so that you have even toned eyelids as well. So I'm going to do that as well. If you feel you need more coverage, I would only come in the center of the face. That's really where more coverage tends to be needed. You don't need a lot around the hairline. So I'm just going to come in for a little bit more as well and kind of show you what that does, especially around the nose and on top of the lip. You don't want to be a little very red there. Even on the forehead, bring it down here too. I'm just patting everything in with my hands because I want a super natural looking skin. Okay, moving on to a little bit of color correcting and concealer. I tend to have some dark circles. Not crazy right now because I'm really trying to stay hydrated through the colder season, even in the summer too. But I'm going to show you this really fun palette. This is the Stila Correct and Perfecting palette. It's really awesome because it has 5 different cream shades that help you get rid of excess pigmentation. And then it comes with 2 powders. And I'm kind of going to walk you through how to use it, which is going to be really cool. So for brown to slightly blue under eye area, you want to use a peach because peach is going to knock out the blue and the brown. For darker skin tones, if it's super dark, so moving into the purples and really deep blues, you want to use a tiny speck of orange. Green actually then also color corrects any redness in the skin. So green neutralizes red, which is really cool. And then we have this like lighter pink here, if everyone can see. That's just gonna brighten any area on the face, which is always a plus. So we might be mixing some colors today. So I'm just going to get a little bit of this peach tone color, this one right here. Sorry if that mirror is blinding you. And I really didn't take out a lot. Less than a pea. Do you see how little of amount I'm gonna use? And that's kind of gonna go all over the areas that need a little bit of color correcting. I'm just gonna use my hand and use my ring finger. The ring finger on your hand uses the least amount of pressure to pat underneath the eye and around the nose and mouth. So I'm gonna get real close so you can see. Right in here is where I'm gonna put that peach color corrector. I'm gonna lightly press because I'm not trying to highlight the whole area of my face underneath the eye. I just want it to blend in and look really even. So with my ring finger still, I'm gonna dab off excess, there we go. Just lightly press that in. I am using the fullness of my finger, like the pad of the finger in this part as well, because it covers a really large area. I'm just lightly pressing and patting. Get into that tear duct as well and kind of press. I'm not gonna go all the way up underneath my lash line because this is gonna be so natural. I want it to look like I have a natural shadow going on under there instead of being super, super covered and bright. So also with my middle finger, I'm just gonna lightly press as well and get that really nice and pressed in. Make sure everything is really even. Already the difference between the right side and left side is brightened and fresh and even with the rest of my face. That's really what I'm going for. And back in, I'm gonna come with my ring finger and come to the left side of my eye. And just press it in. If you're using a foundation brush or a concealer brush, which I'm sure many of you have, I'm gonna show you this one by Bdellium. This is the Bdellium 775 brush. It's a duo fiber, so it's just short. It's got two fibers that really let it blend and buff into the skin. So I'm just gonna take that and show you how to use it. Just lightly blend this color correcting concealer up under my eye. Also with a patting motion and a light sweeping motion, only if you need to blend out edges. That's just getting pressed in there. Awesome. Perfect. And now with whatever is left on my hand from the color correcting concealer, I'm gonna load it up on the brush and kind of hit any areas of my face that feel need a little more coverage. So you always wanna hit around the nose, a little bit around the lip line, and a little in the forehead. Just gonna press that in. It's always a dabbing motion, guys. Always dab. So if you're using a hand or a brush, it's gonna be dabbing. Gonna cover the top lip here as well. I have a little bit of a blemish, so this is gonna work out well for us. You're just gonna lightly press that over the blemish area. Back into the nose and down. And whatever is completely left, I'm scraping the back of my hand here to get everything off. I'm just gonna quickly underline my bottom lip so it's fresh. And onto the chin. Perfect. If you tend to have more oily skin, the next step is optional. Even if you want to use a powder, you can. This is the optional step. Because this is a more dewy look, you want to have a more fresh face. If you're more oily in the T-zone, you can absolutely put a little bit of setting powder just to de-shine the face. You're not really using it to set this look because it doesn't need to be set. You want this to be lived in, super fresh skin. Okay. So for those that are going to be using a powder, a translucent powder or a yellow, very, very fine powder will work, or this really lovely like violet brightening powder will also work. Right now, I don't really look shiny, so I'm not going to do a powder, but if you need to, go for it. My next step is going to be a little bit of bronzer. Bronzer and blush. So the bronzer we're going to go really, really light with. And then I'm going to start out by using this really, really, really big fluffy brush by Bdellium, which is really great. This is the 980 brush. Super great for applying powder, blush, bronzer, highlight if you want. It's really nice and fluffy. I'm gonna use this awesome bronzer by Galactic. This is in the shade Cabo. It's a really, really, really great wash of color to the skin. And I'm just gonna dab right in there because I want most of the color to be on the top of the brush. I'm slightly gonna roll it too for the sides. But really, most of the color is gonna be on the top. Once I've loaded my product onto the brush, I'm gonna tap off because I want the excess powder to fly off and not to get stuck on my face. I'm gonna do a very light wash of bronzer, so I'm mainly hitting this forehead area, slightly onto the cheeks and chin line. I want it to look like I've been slightly sun-kissed, but not overly tanned. So I'm kind of quickly pressing it into my hairline, onto the temple, underneath the cheekbone just a little bit, even on the cheek. If you want to do a little faux smile there and kind of hit the apple a little bit, you can. But these are really quick brush motions. Just keep pressing. And also, if you guys didn't see or I haven't mentioned yet that any product purchase from today, you guys will receive 10% off if you use my code MARIE10, M-A-R-I-E 10. So looking at this on camera, I'm gonna come in a little bit more with a little bit more of this matte bronzer. You can also use a shimmer bronzer if you want. And you're just really sweeping it into this hairline. If you want to hit your ears too, it always looks more natural if you hit your ears. And then I'm going to bring everything else underneath the jawline and down into the neck. Big motions. Big, big motions. Make sure everything looks blended. Awesome. And now we're going to do some blush. Blush is some of my favorite to do because I think everyone looks healthy with a little bit of blush, but especially a cream blush because it leaves a really dewy finish to it instead of a powder. So this is the blush I'm going to use today. This is the Stila cream blush in Lilium. Super, 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 super pretty. This is a great color. It looks good on everybody. The best way to apply a cream blush is with your fingers or a beauty blender. If you're using a beauty blender, please use it wet. That's the best way to use it. Dry, it's really not going to do anything for you. So I'm going to do one side of my cheek with my fingers and then the other side of my cheek with the beauty blender to show you the difference. So this, I'm just going to take my middle finger and just kind of rub and pick up a little bit of product. I know that's a little bit hard to see there. And I'm going to do kind of a fake smile. And most of the color is going to go at the center of the apple of the cheek and back. Because this is a cream blush, it's going to give you a really pretty, dewy finish. I'm pressing that in with my finger in the place I want it, and then I'm going to pat it out in a circle. So get real close here. Small little circles, work my way back onto the cheekbone. Just like so. If you need a little bit more, you can always come back in later. And here on the other side, I'm going to pick it up with the beauty blender. I'm going to use the very fat round end and press. And then the same technique just with the beauty blender. Smile, apple of the cheek, and lightly bring it back. Small little circles, and back to the top of the cheek. Think of blush when you're putting it on as a Nike swish. That's the pattern you're going for. So you're gonna do apple, a little bit down, and a little bit back. So I'm gonna even that out there too. If you want to bring whatever is left over on your fingers or your beauty blender up into your forehead for a more natural flush, definitely try it. So I'm just gonna add a little onto the forehead. And I'm just gonna bring whatever's completely left onto your eyelid. It looks so pretty and so natural. So I'm just gonna press it right onto the eye. That's okay if it gets everywhere, not a big deal. You can always come back in and clean it up later. So I'm just rolling that on, kind of stamping it. Perfect. The next step is to be doing some brows and a little bit of eye. We're really not focusing on the eye so much, so it will be quite easy to do. So first things first, I'm going to take a clean mascara spoolie and just brush through the eyebrows. brushing the fronts up, and then on the tail end, I'm gonna brush them up as well, and a little bit down to get this shape. Because we're not focusing on eyes so much, I'm not gonna fill in my brows. If you feel the need to fill them in, go ahead, but I'm really just gonna use a clear brow gel to keep them in place. So for today, I'm gonna be using the Tanya Crooks Brow Gel in clear. Super amazing. This thing holds like nobody's business. And it's also water resistant, which is pretty cool. So it comes with a great little spoolie there. Just gonna take like one swipe per brow. So I'm gonna brush up in the front, brush all the way across. And the same for the other side, brushing up in the front and in the back, kind of creating the shape. And that's it, brow-wise. If you need to fill in, go ahead and fill with a tiny little pencil or an eyeshadow and just fill in any sparse gaps that you feel are necessary. Then for the eye, I'm gonna come in with a really light fluffy brush. This is the 785 Bdellium blending brush. Super great. You can do so much with this. You can do eyeshadow, you can do concealer with it, which is actually one of my favorite techniques is to use with concealer because it's just really pretty and just very blended out. So for the eye, I'm actually gonna come back to the Stila palette, the color correcting one, and use this purple setting powder and swipe it all across my eyelid. I just want it to set. I don't want my eyelid to look oily, especially after we put some blush there. So just lightly sweeping across because it is pretty translucent, you can't mess it up. So back in again, tap off the excess, sweeping it across, sweeping it all the way across, circular motions, and patting it on the lid. Awesome. Perfect. And I'm actually gonna take a little bit more of this powder and just dust it underneath my lash line. So underneath my lash line and all that color corrector we use doesn't get oily or look overly shiny. Just really lightly pressing so we're not pulling product away. We're just pressing it on instead of sweeping. Perfect. And then to bump up the dewy glow, we're gonna come in and use a really fun like liquid highlighter. And this is one of the newer products I've been using lately, and this is called the Kevyn Aucoin Glass Glow Face. This stuff is iridescent. It's mostly clear, but has some really pretty, I mean very fine light blue reflecting in it. So it just makes the skin look super luminous. I'm gonna use a beauty blender to apply. So if you have a beauty blender, great. If you wanna use your hands, you totally can. But I'm really gonna use very little, way less than a pea size because we're gonna use this on tops of our cheekbones, down the bridge of our nose, maybe a little in the eye. And I'm gonna use the side of my beauty blender with the tip of the beauty blender facing up. So I'm just gonna pick it up, this highlighter, and then exactly where I've placed it on the blender, I'm going to put on top of the cheekbone here and into the temple, and I'm just gonna stamp it. Already, there's quite a difference in the reflection. This is higher shine versus the left side of my face. I'm gonna come back in and finish picking up that product and stamp it right on top of the cheekbone and into the temple. I'm gonna come in for a little more because I really love dewy skin. I'm gonna pick it up on the beauty blender. I'm gonna go for the very center of the inner nose right here on the top of the lip. It just makes it pop a little bit more on the cheekbones. I'm also gonna pop this on underneath the brow bone is super pretty and in the inner corner of the eye. It just brightens it up. So if you have a small little concealer brush or a blending brush that you want to, an eyeshadow blending brush, sweep it across, that's what we're gonna use. I'm gonna use this Bdellium brush, the 785 blending brush. I'm gonna come right in and pick up very little product. Sweep it a little bit under the brow bone here. Come back in, do the same on the other side. Pat right under the brow. This is gonna help lift the face. And a little bit to the inner corner. So right here in that tear duct area. Pressing right in that tear duct. If you want to sweep it across the lid, you can as well. Now on the other side, press it into that tear duct and sweep across the lid. Awesome. Very cool. Just pressing. Amazing. And I'm just going to take my hands and just press the rest of this gloss in to make sure it's not too overly shiny. If you feel you've put too much on, that is totally okay. It happens. Use the clean side of your beauty blender and just press over top anywhere you've put too much highlighter on. That's going to act like a little bit of an eraser and soak up excess product. Just gonna make sure all blended and set. Perfect. The next step is going to be to curl your eyelashes. And then we're going to do a quick tight line and possibly a little mascara and call it a day. So I really love to use the Kevyn Aucoin eyelash curler. This thing is awesome. I find that it gets all of the lashes, even the little baby ones on the inside. The mouth of the lash curler is really wide, so it catches your whole eyelid, which is great. So I'm going to come in. I love to look straight ahead, clamp, and look down, pressing a couple of times and walking it all the way up to the top of the lash. It's just going to lift the lashes so it opens up the eye. Come back into the other side. Be careful not to pinch your eyelid. It happens to me. And it's super painful, so be careful. Don't be nervous about it. That's how you learn where to place it. Perfect. If you would like to stop here, you totally can. I'm going to come in with a liquid black liner. I'm just going to press the liquid liner in between my lashes where I feel I need more coverage, but I want to make my lash line look a lot fuller. So I'm going to shake the lash liner that I have. This is the Stila Stay All Day Waterproof Lash Liner in black. It's actually called Stingray, so that's fun. And this has a really nice felt point tip liner on it. Look how easy that is to use. Now I'm just going to get a compact mirror so I can see up close. I'm going to show you where to place the liner. So I'm going to come in and look straight ahead. And I'm just, if I see any gaps at the lash line, taking the point of the felt tip liner and literally like micro dotting in between the lashes, because I want it to look like I have such a natural full lash line that I don't need mascara. Just coming right in, really slowly, take your time. If you need to look straight ahead and look down, get up close into a mirror so you can see exactly where you're placing this liquid liner. Already, compared to the other side, it looks slightly fuller. So I'm just going to keep going until I get the likeness and depth of color. If you're struggling to use that technique, you can use the side of the lash of the liner and press it underneath your lash line. I'm going to show you on the other side. And I'm just pressing it, like stamping it across the bottom underneath lashes, just like a stamp. Already from afar, it looks a lot thicker and fuller. I'm going to take that same clear eyebrow gel, and instead of using mascara, which is also an option, use the eyebrow gel because I don't want my lashes to look like I've put anything on them. So I'm coming back with the Brow Gal Tanya Crooks Clear Waterproof Eyebrow Gel. I'm going to use that instead of mascara. I'm going to get a clean spoolie though and dip it in because I don't want to contaminate and bring other germs onto my eye. And just lightly press it underneath and pull up. If you would like to use mascara, you totally can. Keep it light. But at the end of the day, do it however you like your lashes to be. If you like them big, go all the way. Awesome. And I'm just going to hit the tops. No need to hit the bottoms. Okay, I'm just gonna lightly lift with my fingers as well to keep my lashes up. Awesome. Okay. And then last but not least, a little something on the lip. We're not going for anything crazy right now. So I'm really going to take a lip that's going to be hydrating. This is the Jouer Essential Lip Primer Conditioner. This thing is amazing. This is a gloss, but it's also a deep conditioning treatment. Now I'm just going to take some on the back of my hand. If you want to use a tinted gloss, go for it, or whatever lipstick you want to do. But this is just going to hydrate. Now I'm going to use my finger because I think it just like makes it look really easy and effortless. And I'm not trying to make it look perfect. I want to look super, super natural. Like I'm ready to see people in 5 minutes. This is going to be so fast if you do this at home. So I'm just going to spread it and mix and tap it in. Perfect. And this will keep your lips so hydrated throughout the day. This is one of the best lip conditioners I've used. I buy 4 at a time because I have one in every purse, in every backpack, and every time I travel, this is what I'm taking with me. It's not overly sticky. The gloss and shine lasts for so, so long, and it really hydrates the lips. Perfect. Well, if you feel you want to set your makeup, I would say we're going to use something hydrating. So I have a really nice toner here, and it's also kind of a setting spray or like a midday mist. This is by Beauty RX. This is the clarifying toner, and I'm just going to step back and spray for about 6 inches away from my face so you didn't get shot. You're just going to spray and across. And this is just going to set the face and keep everything looking really, really hydrated. If you feel that this is too shiny for you, yet again, you can totally use powder, but this is not a powdery look. We're going for all the dew and all the shine. This is super age appropriate for everybody. Anyone can wear this and feel really comfortable leaving the house. Thank you so much for joining me today, guys. If you have any questions, don't forget to drop them in the comment box below. We have listed all of the products I've used today. You will receive 10% off at checkout. So definitely check out our website at blushington.com. Next week, if you'd like to join me, I'm hosting back-to-back classes. Friday is our bridal look. So for any brides out there that will be doing their own makeup, unfortunately during this COVID times, I'd be more than happy to share some fun tips and tricks. And then the next day, Saturday, we'll be doing a really nice bedtime skincare routine to stay hydrated through the winter months. So this is it for our class today. Don't forget to check out our website and book a fun class. It was so fun teaching you guys today. Thanks so much. Have a good one, guys. Bye.